standard equation of a hyperbola, there are two types hyperbola. The one you see on the left is horizontal. The one you see on the right is vertical. Starting with the horizontal hyperbola, so this is a horizontal hyperbola because the transverse axis, this yellow dashed line, is horizontal. And then on this transverse axis, we have foci, the blue points, we have vertices, the green point, and then we have the center, the point in the middle. So starting at the center h comma k, if you add c units to it, add c units to the x coordinate, h plus c, you reach to this focus. And then if you take h minus c, you reach to this focus. And then look right over here, foci is c units from the center. So starting at the h comma k, add c units, you reach to the focus on the right. Subtract c units, you reach to the focus on the left. And then the vertices is a units from the center. So starting at the center, you add a units to the x coordinate, you reach to this vertex. You subtract 8 units from h, you reach to this vertex. So since this is a horizontal hyperbola, we have a horizontal transverse axis. Hyperbola means you have two parabola, so one right here and then one right there. For a horizontal hyperbola, the standard equation is x minus x squared divided by a squared minus y minus k squared divided by b squared equals to 1. On the other side, you always have a 1. So let's compare the horizontal to the vertical. So for vertical hyperbola, you have two hyperbolas, one right here and then one right here. The center is h comma k, and then the foci, they are c units away from the center. So since we are going up and down, you have to add c or subtract c to the y coordinate. H plus c, so you go c units up, you reach to this focus. H minus c, you go c units down to reach to this focus. And then the two vertices is 8 units, this a, the letter a, 8 units from the center. So from this vertex to this, from this center to this vertex, you have to add 8 units to the y coordinate. And then to move down to this vertex, you have to subtract 8 units from the y coordinate. And then the relationship between a, b, and c is c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. And then for a vertical hyperbola, the standard equation is y minus k squared divided by a squared minus x minus h squared divided by b squared equals to 1. So if you make a quick comparison between the horizontal and vertical hyperbola, I can see that the difference is for horizontal, x goes first. For vertical, y goes first. All right, so let's do some exercise. So the first problem I gave you is in this type of problem, I will give you some characteristics and I want you to write the standard equation of a hyperbola. So I gave you the vertices and the foci. So the vertices plus or minus 4 comma 0, so which is right over here, the vertices right over here, and then the foci plus or minus 6 comma 0, which is right over here. So this is a focus, a vertex, and a vertex. So what you need to do is we will have to find the center first. By the way, how do I know that this is a horizontal hyperbola? The answer is very simple. Imagine that you have a piece of graphing paper, you plot these points. After you plot these points, you have 4 points, right? So this is your transverse axis, and this transverse axis is horizontal. So that's how I know that this is a horizontal hyperbola. And then what is the center? The center, there are two ways to find it. The center is the midpoint of the two vertices. So you have -4 and a +4. What is in the middle? The answer is very simple. It's h0 comma 0. So let's go ahead and find that. So h comma k is the midpoint. The center is the midpoint, which is equals to -4 plus 4 divided by 2, 0 plus 0 divided by 2, the midpoint of the two vertices. Then you have a 0, 0. So that is the center. And then what is A? Read this. A is the vertices. So how many units away from the center? The answer is the vertices are what? From 0, 0. So right here, this is a 0, 0. And then this is a 4 comma 0, that is 4 units away. So we know that A is equals to 4. And then what else do we know? The foci. the foci is 6, -6, then is 6 units away from the center. So 6 units, C is equals to 6 because the foci is 6 units from the center. And then this is equals to 4 because the vertices are 4 units from the center. But we don't need C to write the standard equation. We will need B to write the standard equation, right? And then you have to recall that C square equals to A square plus B square. So you know C, that is the 6 square. So you have a 6 square, you know A 4 square plus B square. So you have 36, you have 36 minus 16. Then B square is equals to 20, and then B is equals to square root of 20. And then now you can write your standard equation. So to write my standard equation, what I am going to do next is I am going to move this down a little bit so I have some space for myself. And then what is the standard equation? We have a horizontal hyperbola, so the standard equations follows this, right? The standard equations follow this. You have x and then y, the bottom you have a and b. Okay. Let's put this down. You have x minus h, 0. I keep the 0. And then divided by a square, which is 4 square. And then plus y minus k square divided by b square, which I would like to use this, put this as square root of 20 square, because that is what the formula states, b square. Okay, I will keep that as a square. And then you box that. This is your final answer, and that is the standard equation of this hyperbola. For the next problem, I gave you 2 vertices and then 2 foci. So very simple. You plot them first. You plot them. So you plot them first. You plot the 2 vertices and then you plot the 2 foci, and then you can see that they are within the same vertical line. So that's how I know that this is a vertical hyperbola. And then how do I find the center? The center is what? The center is the midpoint of the center is the midpoint of the 2 vertices. So the center is I will color code this for you because I want to put the center in red. So I am going to say center is the midpoint of the vertices. And then your h comma k, that is equals to 2 plus 2 divided by 2. And then 3 plus negative 3 divided by 2. What is that equal to? 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then 0 divided by 2 is equals to 0. So you have your center, which is at 2 comma 0, and then I am going to color code this. So this is the center, and then this is 2 comma 0. And then how about A, B, and C? So what is A? A is the distance between what? The distance between the center and the vertices. Then what is A? A is equals to what? A is equals to 3, and then this is the distance between center and vertices. How about C? How about C? What is equals to C? From 0 to 6, and then from 0 to negative 6, that is 6 units, right? Okay, then C is equals to 6, which is the distance between center and foci. And then for B, you will just have to recall the formula for B, recall the formula and then solve for B. So C square equals to A square plus B square. You have A, you have C, so 6 square equals to 3 square plus B square. And then you have 36 equals to 9 plus b square, and then b square is equals to 36 minus 9 is 27, and then b is equals to square root of 27. We do not use the plus or minus because distance cannot be negative. So now we have a, b, h, and k. This is a vertical hyperbola. Then we follow this formula, the one that I just circled. All right, then you have y minus k. What is k? K is 0, and then square divided by a square. A square is equals to 3 square, and then minus x minus h. The previous problem. Hey, I'm sure that everybody found this mistake, so this is a minus. I wrote a plus, it's a minus. And then minus x minus h, so x minus 2 square divided by what? Divided by b square. B square is the square root of 27 square, and then equals to 1. And then there you go. Okay, let's move on to the last problem. The last problem is a little bit more difficult. I gave you the two vertices. As always, you just plot them on an xy plane, and then this time you have -2 and 2. Y is always equals to 1. And then now, after you plot the two vertices, I know that the transverse axis is horizontal, so this is a horizontal hyperbola. And then what else do we know? We have a point on the hyperbola that is at 5, 4. So at 5, 4, just plot the 5, 4. The point should be somewhere around here. And then what do? We have vertices, so since we have vertices, we can easily find the center because the center is the midpoint of the two vertices. Okay, let's go ahead and find the vertices. So the center is the midpoint of the two vertices. Alright, then h comma k is equals to -2 plus 2 divided by 2, comma 1 plus 1 divided by 2. So you have 0 divided by 2, 2 divided by 2, and then that is your center. And then how about A? A is the distance between the center and the foci. So A is equals to 2 because this is a 2 units distance between the center and foci. So you have your 0, 1, right? 0, 1, and then from 0 to 2, this is 2 units. From 0 to -2, this is 2 units. So C is equals to 2. And then what else? I do not have foci, so therefore I cannot find C right now. And without C, I cannot find B as well. So that's why this problem, we have to plug in everything we have so far. So for a horizontal hyperbola, we have a x minus h square divided by a square plus y minus k square. Y minus k square divided by b square equals to 1. So plug in hk and 1 first. So plug in hk and 1, then we have x minus 0 square divided by 2 square plus y minus 1 square divided by b square. B square is just b square. That is equals to 1. And then what we have to do next is we have a point at x comma y that is equals to 5 comma 4, and then we plug in x and y to solve for b. So plug in x and y, then we have 5 minus 0 before we plug in, can we simplify that? We have a 5 minus 0 square minus 0 square. This is equals to 4, and then I keep saying a plus, this is a minus, sorry. I keep saying a plus. It is a minus. Okay. And then you minus y is equals to 4. You have 4 minus 1 square divided by b square. B square, we don't know what b square is. That is equals to 1. Then you have 25 over 4 minus 9 over b square. That is equals to 1. All right. And then let's subtract 1. So 25 over 4 minus 1 equals to 9 divided by b square. And then 25 minus 1 is 21 over 4 equals to 9 over b squared. Do you still remember how to solve this? You cross multiply. So you cross multiply. You have 21b squared equals to 4 times 9 is 36. And then b squared is equals to 36 divided by 21. Reduce the fraction, you have 12 over 7. As a result, b is equals to the square root of 12 over 7. And then now you can write your final answer. So the final answer, the standard equation, is x minus 0 square divided by 2 square, and then minus y minus 1 square divided by b square, which is the square of root 12 over 7, and then overall that is equals to 1, and then this is the standard equation. Alright, so that is the end of this problem and this video. If you think I picked the good problems for discussion, you think this is a good discussion for introducing standard equation of a hyperbola, give this video a thumbs up. If this is something that you want to see in the future, subscribe to my channel. As always, I will meet you all in the next lesson. Signing out.